But let's see. You're there. So again, with great sadness, not happy about this. And that's why we kept running deficit budgets. Well, we don't want to stop doing these great things. We love everything we do. So with great sadness, the regents voted to discontinue the following majors and minors due to low enrollment and cost considerations. We have to do some budget adjustments. So the majors and minors, they discontinued, and this starts fall of 2024. So if you're a student at Bethany today, nobody's impacted. You will all get to finish the major and minor you're in right now, okay? So this only starts to impact new freshmen who want to start in fall of 24 and going forward, okay? So the history major and minor, social studies major and minor, American studies major and minor, and then the global and cross-cultural studies minor, and philosophy minor. And again, if you're in those programs now, you are not impacted. I use the word in the letter, these are the number of students impacted, you're not impacted. I should have said, these are the current freshmen through juniors. Okay. Additional decisions, due to low enrollment and cost considerations, the regents discontinued the theater major and minor, but they voted to maintain the full theater production calendar that we currently have in place. So in my mind, we do 4 productions a year. We do the early fall production. It has been theater physics in the past. I've heard there might be talk about doing something a little different in the future. That's up to them. So that early fall, and then a fall play, the winter musical, and then the spring play. That will all continue. Same great productions that we have been doing will continue. And our hope is that students will want to continue to be in all these wonderful productions that we have. And in the fine arts, we do brag about that. I've heard Professor Fogstead say, we've got kids from 20 different majors in the concert band. That's wonderful. So keep being in all these wonderful majors at Bethany and be in our wonderful theatrical productions. And then we're also saying that we would love for we're keeping the 2 full-time people in the theater department and the half-time person in the theater department. And we're saying, keep doing all that wonderful stuff. Yep, you're going to teach out the students that are in your programs right now. And then over time, we would love it for you to continue to promote the fine arts at Bethany, just as Professor Fogstead does, just as Professor Jasperson does. Promote Bethany and say, come to Bethany, you can be in all this great stuff, and you can be in the fine arts at Bethany. And, you know, I want you to know, for no reason other than to get to know me better, I was in choir and band in high school and college. I was in 4 musicals between high school and college. I was the president of the high school band when I was a senior. So I love the fine arts. I don't like this stuff happening.
What did you major in?
In college?
Yeah.
Well, I went to Dr. Martin Luther College, and there you had 2 choices. You could either be a pastor or a teacher. So I became a teacher. And this is my 43rd year in Christian education. How about that? All right. Okay, thank you for that question. All right, let's get back to what we did here. Okay, so I talked about that. The other thing to note about specifically theater and history courses, the gen ed teaching. So you can't escape Bethany without taking a history course, right? It's in the gen ed or graduate, whatever you want to call it, gen ed requirements, graduation requirements. All those history courses in the gen eds continue. And there's also 3 art history courses. And I think there might be 2 or 3 music history courses. So,
Churches.
okay. So there's plenty of history, including 4 HIST history courses. Same thing in theater. The 2 Gen Ed theater courses will continue. And if you're in arts administration, I think there's a theater course required for arts administration. We'll probably have to, we'll keep that too. So there are still some, still history and theater being offered. I told you the board's trying some new strategies. One of their new strategies is they're actually investing. We're going to try to hire a new faculty member for next year in the math science division. So we have a need for a professor to teach physics and engineering courses. And so we see that. We have a 1 professor show in engineering and things like computer science. And those are both in the 30s and 40s in enrollment. So they need help. So we're going to get them another professor and then ask that person to, again, help promote the math science majors at Bethany. We haven't had students in Latin for the last couple of years. So we're going to just make it official and discontinue the teaching of Latin. I've talked to Professor DeGarmo about this. Same thing with Norwegian. So I'm disappointed about that. I thought for sure Latin was needed for the seminary, and President Hartley tells me it's not. So, in the area of speech and debate, the credit allotment for coaching of the speech and debate team is being reallocated to the communication major. We need help there. So again, all of these are little things that add up to a lot to try to cover that $500,000 a year deficit that we've been experiencing. We're adjusting the 4-year rotation for band and choir tours. So once every 4 years is a national tour, once every 4 years is a regional tour, and then twice every 4 years would be what we would call a local tour, meaning within 2 hours of Bethany. What we've noticed is that we haven't sung in our local churches and schools very often. And I think there's been an assumption that, well, if you live in Mankato or near Mankato, you just come to Bethany for the great concerts we have. And we're realizing we should be singing in our local churches more. And I know that started, I know Professor Fogstead took the Chamber Orchestra to Northland about a month ago or so? Okay. So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. We need to do more of that. All right. One other investment, if you want to call it that, the board really looked at cutting the men's and women's golf team and the men's and women's tennis team. We don't have those anymore. And after a study, what we found out, we could save some money, but we'd actually lose more and our deficit would be bigger. Because we figured a lot of kids would quit if we didn't have golf and tennis. So we did the math, and in the end we said it doesn't make any sense to cut these. We might as well, we don't have a coach for either right now. We might as well rehire the coach and then tell that coach, you've got to grow the enrollment of these programs. We call that unduplicated students, kids who would only come to Bethany because I can be on the golf team or the tennis team, that type of thing. So try to grow in that is the strategy. And again, so all of these things added up don't nearly add up to the $500,000 deficits we've been experiencing, but they do put a dent in that, and then the other strategies cover the rest. And God willing, if these strategies are blessed, and I have no reason to believe that God, He's blessed us for 97 years. There's no reason He's going to stop blessing us now. So I feel pretty confident that God will continue to watch over us and Bethany. All right, so we need to be patient. We need to pray. There are professors their positions remain, but their duties might change, or have changed, or will change. So we need to keep these people in our prayers. We need to keep you, our students, in our prayers. Because this impacts, I'm using the word, it impacts all of us. Everybody in this room, you get to do everything you signed up for. It impacts the next batch of students. All right? I am ready for questions.